Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for pain. Lots and lots of pain.
So I hogtied someone to join us in pain because she wants me to join in pain.
Well, we're probably more torturing M than anything with this.
Quivers. Quivers.
They don't work that way.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Wasted Potential, brought to you by Trigger and Chaos. We have a special guest with us today.
Damn, that's you.
That's me? What?
You're the special guest.
I'm not special.
You're special to us.
Very.
And the people in the white jackets, they want you now.
You're coming to take me away.
Really? That means they're not after me for once. I'm free! Free! Ah!
Quick, get him too!
So yeah, this is our good friend Nem, not to be confused with me, M. I know that's gonna get kind of confusing because they sound very similar, but it's N-E-M. I'm just the letter M.
Good.
I'm sorry, who are you two? I was busy petting my dog.
Just put the dog on one episode.
Augie and Ember would happily join in.
Yeah. So today we're gonna talk about She-Ra. And we didn't just grab a woman because we wanted to sound less sexist. Although that is gonna help.
I don't think so with this show.
Because every time someone complains about this show, it's you're bashing on something and you're not just finding flaws with the show.
Mind you, the entire show is a flaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then some.
So, not only is Nem here to be an additional voice, she's also here to be our expert on the original She-Ra.
Which I only know because I watched He-Man.
I didn't watch either. They
I
weren't
watched
really
both.
they weren't really airing reruns when I was a youngster. I did see a few things. I know obviously about Skeletor and I know the pop culture stuff about them, but honestly, all I know about She-Ra is they wrote her very strangely with her brother.
And that's still better writing than what we currently have.
Yes. Yes.
Which is kind of painful to think about.
I mean, I like to call this era the golden age of children's television. We've got things like Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, the new DuckTales, Gravity Falls, all these amazing children's shows which are really damn smart and really, have really good messages.
But are also goofy in their own way.
Then we have this, which is just trying to be messages. And I don't...
Yeah, I'm going to be the one to say this right now. This show is such a propaganda shouting message that I don't think it understands subtlety or the damn.
No.
No.
I tried looking at this with an open mind.
Yep.
And that went out the window about 5 minutes in.
Yeah, the constant plot inconsistencies just hurt my head.
Okay, before we go any farther, and not to confuse too many people, Nem, would you like to give a brief history on She-Ra?
Alright, so She-Ra came about in the late 80s as a spin-off to He-Man, which is pretty much common knowledge. Adam and Adora are twins. Adora was kidnapped by the evil Horde at a young age and raised to basically believe that everything that the Horde was fighting for was right and that anything that was against them, aka the rebellion, was wrong. Now, here's where the original show differs and is much better than, in my opinion. Adora was under a spell in the original series. So anytime that she realized that the Horde was evil, Shadow Weaver just made the spell stronger and brought her back to their side.
It's kind of hard not to notice you're working for the bad guys when well, one thing, they're called the Horde.
No, they're called the Evil Horde.
That too.
Oh, so it's even advertisements for them.
And the damage they do, the enslaving they do, and I'm pretty sure they all wear skulls. Are we the bad guys?
I think we're the bad guys.
We're totally the bad guys.
All right.
So, yeah.
I got one question before we go any farther. Was there a Kyle in the original series?
There was not a Kyle in the
Oh, I'm
original
sad.
series.
So, anyway, in this version, she's basically just schooled by the evil Horde, who they just refer to as the Horde, I believe.
Yep.
And they live in a futuristic city that is just pumping out toxic fumes constantly.
Oh, and it's called the Fright Zone.
Yeah, that.
Now,
Which-
this could work. There's leaning more towards what I think is called Stockholm Syndrome, in a certain sense.
That's not really what Stockholm Syndrome is.
No, but it's the closest thing I can think of.
The thing they're trying to do to her, I believe, is gaslighting her.
Yes, that would be more accurate.
Okay, well,
Stockholm Syndrome is when you trust your captors and you feel sorry for them. You don't want bad things to happen to them, but you usually in Stockholm.
Oh, I get it. We're the ones experiencing Stockholm Syndrome.
No, we're not. No, we're not, because we're not defending them. We don't want good things to happen to them. We want them to be punished.
No, I just feel sorry for them.
I don't feel sorry for them the slightest.
In order for it to be Stockholm Syndrome, she would have had to have been old enough to remember she was kidnapped, not to the Horde as a baby.
Yeah. Here they're trying to gaslight her. Here they're trying to basically do doublethink to her. That, the party is good even when the party is bad. The party can only be good.
They don't
Kind
do a
of
very
thing.
good job with this.
Well, obviously, they live in a place called the Fright Zone.
And the Enchanted Farm's right over there that looks all sorts of green and healthy and not trying to murder your own people.
Look, as someone who identifies more with Megatron when it comes to beast machines and crushing organics, even I'm like, this is not subtle.
Megatron would look at this place, shake his head, and go back to space.
Yeah.
He would know nothing with this.
Or just gas the planet and just leave it as a gassy ball of death.
I'm pretty sure even Optimus would be okay with that.
That would be fair.
Yeah. So, our main character, Adora,
Is the biggest klutz and yet the most soldier of them all. I
know,
can't
it's-
figure this one out.
they're trying to, in my opinion, they're trying to homage Sailor Moon, the original Sailor Moon, how much of a klutz he was. But they also want her to be a badass. The thing about Sailor Moon, would anyone describe her as a badass?
No.
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 I mean, for certain things, like going to a ball or something, her being a klutz, I can see.
Yes.
If she's never wore, like, those kind of heels. Or she's never actually worn a dress or something like that. I can understand that. But even if this is her first time holding a sword,
Which it's not.
I'm just saying, even if it was,
Yeah.
this feels more like the universe is out to get her at this moment.
Yeah. I can think of a lot of klutzy heroes and heroines. They're consistent. Adora just seems to have some sort of switch the writers flick on and off, like, how do we actually add some conflict to the scene? Let's make her a klutz. Didn't last episode she do this perfectly? Yeah. Let's make her a klutz.
And when we were first introduced to her, was anybody else thinking that they're getting ready for, like, laser tag?
They look like laser tag, yes.
Completely.
But that's their simulated training. It's their danger room.
But here's the thing. Did any of them actually ever use, like, blasters or anything when they went on the war or anything like that? Or were they just, like I know...
Guns are bad, okay?
No, I'm just, like, am I just forgetting this because I'm trying to forget the entire thing? Or, like, did none of them actually ever have guns with them when they left the Horde place? The Fright Zone?
Guns are bad, okay?
I'm taking that as a no.
That's pretty much your answer.
Yeah. It's basically this show is trying to do so many agendas at once, it has no idea where the story starts. It just has a lot of good messages, yes. Like, I'm not going to smirk some of the messages, but the thing is, it has no way of telling these messages.
So Adora decides to go gallivanting outside the fright zone and comes across her magical sword.
Yeah.
Alright, phone, I'm stopping now.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, we should probably just explain the main cast for this She-Ra.
okay, well, we started with Adora. I guess we should move on to the next important character. The fan favorite from the show, Catcher.
End credit?
Good character from the show.
Oh, okay. I mean, she's all right, but she has the same syndrome as the one good character from Final Fantasy X, surrounded by so much crap. I can't like this character, even though I should.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, they say a show can't be built but with one character, and most of the time they're correct on that.
Commodore Kabuto would argue with you about that.
I was just thinking that. But she is... Well, she starts off as Adora's BFF.
Right. That's where they started off.
Well, besides her being a complete and total... Well... I mean, she did try and show up Adora at the start, too.
That has nothing to do with their relationship. That's just her personality.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, it's in my personality to be a snarky asshole.
I don't know there's anything else to you.
There really isn't. I'm held together with snark and spite.
And I wouldn't want you any other way.
There's something desperately wrong with you.
Oh, we already knew that.
So yeah, Catra is... I don't know how to describe her alliance with the Fright Zone people.
She's smart enough to know they're evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't give her credit on that one because that either says she's smarter than that planet, or everyone else is just really, really dumb.
She should be in a different show. Like, any show would be better for her.
Yeah, any other show I could see her being a part of. So, yeah, more technical issues.
Yeah. Catra is heartbroken that Adora left and is happy? I don't know.
She's
I don't know.
heartbroken that Adora left her behind, but she's happy in
No.
chance.
My question is Adora happy? I don't know.
Well, I would make some female joke and emotions, but I'm not sure that even applies to this.
Not in the slightest. I don't even know where you're... Oh, never mind.
Well, Katja going back and forth with the door leaving her, and one door to come back, and then one being all happy about being promoted to commander.
That's just...
Captain.
That's just, the crazy fuck-up-pery of her life. That has nothing to do with her gender. That's just emotions working like that for everybody. My thing is, I don't really get... Catra is terrified to leave, but she sees Adora is technically, happier, even though I would describe both the Horde and the Rebellion to be terrible places to live.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be because both sides are complete and total idiots.
Well, the Horde is less stupid in places, but just more totalitarian state, which is never good. The Rebellion is...
Compared to what the Rebellion has.
The Rebellion is much more free, but nobody has two brain cells to rub together. Case in point, the main characters from the Rebellion side, Glimmer and Bow.
Good grief.
I'm surprised both of them are smart enough to breathe.
Okay, let's start with Glimmer, because I think we should move on, because Catcher's just... You have to see it to understand it.
Yeah, kinda.
And I think it's more of a character interaction thing than it is really...
I'm not sure who I hate more, Glimmer or Bow.
I hate Glimmer more.
Glimmer.
Well, I like that they decided to make Glimmer a rounder person, but then immediately in episode 2, Soul pointed out that, in that armor, she now blends in.
And it's not like armor. It's kind of like spandex armor that kind of expands with them, because there are scenes where she's rounder, and then she's skinnier. Then she's rounder, then she's skinnier.
That leads to my major problem with the show, their animation inconsistency.
We'll get there in a minute, Em. Save it. Take deep breaths. Glimmer, when we first introduced to her, is arguing with the queen, her mother, like a mother and daughter, like, I want to say childish fight in front of their soldiers. This never bodes well.
No.
And I would excuse it if, say, Glimmer's mom, who is sort of in charge of what's left of the rebellion, I think.
Yes.
And said, guards, wait outside or something. No, she's perfectly happy to start this childish fight in front of her. Like, hand guards and soldiers or whatever, whoever the hell happens to be there.
Diddle members.
Which gives the impression of, oh, it's a typical Tuesday. The princess and the queen are having another spat. Tee-hee.
Pretty sure you can set your watch by it at that point.
Yeah, if my leader is doing that every day or every other week, I'm basically just like, you know what? Let's make our own rebellion.
I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm doing the Horde.
All right, so let's do a character comparison here.
Sure.
Original Glimmer. Mother kidnapped by the evil Horde.
Mm-hmm.
Is doing her absolute best to hold it together despite being incredibly upset over the loss of her mother. Puts the needs and wants of her people before herself. Once her people are secure, asks She-Ra and He-Man's aid to rescue her mother, who is very important to her.
So, acting like a leader.
Yes.
Whereas this Glimmer is pretty much acting like a spoiled brat 12-year-old who constantly puts everybody in danger.
Because I get the impression she thinks this whole rebellion and war thing is just an excuse to show off.
Yes.
God, you would so hate the D&D episode. Like, you know how you disliked it when Voltron did it?
Oh, Lord.
They did it worse.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's get to Bo, who, what is he not trying to be a stand-in for?
The straight man?
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I can't look at Bo and everything he's done, how he acts.
Yeah.
And think a straight man.
Yeah. And this is coming from a guy who enjoyed Yuri on Ice, which is probably the gayest show I ever watched.
I mean, it's fine if they write him as a gay character. I would not have any problems with that.
But could they write them as one gay character rather than trying to represent every gay man?
But, He-Man in the pink Cadillac was less overtoned than this thing.
I forgot about the pink Cadillac.
You're welcome.
I needed that. But yeah, you may have noticed we started the episode off with quivers don't work that way. His okay, I'm gonna have to bring up one comparison. In the Justice League cartoon, whenever Green Arrow ran out of arrows, they consistently showed his backpack quiver without arrows.
Now, maybe there's like 1 or 2 arrows added, but inconsistently, but when it was actual arrows, fine, I can't.
Bo, however, his quiver is Schrodinger's cat.
It's either full of arrows, has a few arrows, has 1 arrow, has no arrows, or isn't there at all.
I think there's literally one scene where he's saying, "I'm out of arrows," and you see the arrows poking out of his quiver. And you're like, what?
There's 5 arrows there, Bo. That's 5. Oh, you're out? I'm sorry. I didn't realize that 5 meant 0.
And then the next time they cut the angle slightly, he's empty again. And then they cut back, he has quiver. His quiver is full again. And you're just like, oh no!
Cut back, his quiver's gone.
Yeah, his quiver disappears too.
So does Glimmer's sword.
Yeah, and I understand animation errors are going to happen in a show, but don't make a plot point something the animators will fuck up constantly.
I mean, if it was only like 1, maybe 2 arrows when he's supposed to have arrows in general.
Yeah,
I can go with that.
That happens a lot in shows. It's hard to draw 50 in a bundle.
Mm-hmm.
And just pulling some out and the number on his back not changing is pretty standard for animation, but when you have a character say, "Hey, I'm out of arrows," and you see the arrows in their quiver, you're just like, are you bullshitting?
Or,
Is this a fuck up? Or are you just...
that episode?
Or do you want your friends to die?
Yeah. Or like in that episode when the whole lead up was his one magical technical arrow that he made and was waiting to use, that should be the only arrow left in the quiver.
Nope. Several times you see multiple arrows in it.
And not that one.
And speaking of that episode, that leads us to another character. Some people like, some people hate, some people feel indifferent to. Entrapta. Oh boy, is she a mess in the second season.
Do I even want to know? Because I tried. These guys forced me to watch a handful of season 1. It was like pulling teeth. It was like pulling teeth.
Well, and this is pulling your entire jaw, your lower kneecap, and your foot all at once in 3 separate directions.
Ah.
I do have to admit, Entrapta has a very interesting character arc in the second season, and she actually becomes pretty important.
Yeah, but at the same time, it makes me question the Horde all the more.
Yeah.
I think you should just stop trying to question things, even though we're going to do that for the rest of this episode.
So, let's go on and talk about the actual She-Ra. Well, actually, no, there's one other character I want to bring up because she really comes up a lot, especially in Season 2. Scorpia. Good lord, did anybody tell her she's working for the villains?
No, because she's Sunshine and Rainbows.
Like, seriously, the evil-looking Horde commander thingy that I can't think of the actual name of is
Horde
the
captain?
one that is the nicest person ever.
Yeah.
Kind of adorable.
Which is not a bad thing, but tone whiplash.
And
Wait,
she
I know,
won-
this is She-Ra and the tone whiplash. Not the Princess of Power, the Princess of Tone Whiplash.
Oh god, you want to talk about Tone Whiplash Frosta, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But Scorpia literally wants to be Catra's BFF. Her replacement Adora.
I mean, you gotta like who you work with.
Yeah, but she
Yeah,
wants to be the BFF. Air quotes. And I don't think she's gonna get it.
Good? Bad? I don't know.
Confused? Good.
Confused!
So are we.
Good, that's it. Confused, that's what we all are.
Very.
So, I guess we should try and explain She-Ra now.
Okay, this is where it gets a little weird. From
Well,
what?
first off, I don't think they have the rights to He-Man, so they can't...
That's what I was getting to. According to what I've managed to research, who's making this again? I forget.
This is DreamWorks.
DreamWorks has the rights to She-Ra, the characters, but because Castle Grayskull originated with He-Man, they don't have the full rights for the story behind that.
Which is weird because they're so tied together. It'd basically be like, you have the rights to the Fantastic Four, but you don't have the rights to the Thing.
Plus, let's not forget the fact that she still yells out for the honor of Grayskull when she transforms.
Yeah, which I have a few theories, but I'm pretty sure a lot of other people have caught on to, but it's not enough to save the show.
No.
But
It's just... Yeah, and She-Ra's redesign is one of the things people are still up in arms about, and I get what they were going for. They're going for the classical Greek-style Amazon warrior, where it's basically a man.
yeah, and if this was a different show, I'd be more fine with that.
The thing
And
is,
it's
though...
not a sexist thing.
No, She-Ra has an iconic design.
Just like Wonder Woman does.
Mm-hmm.
And Wonder Woman's still on Amazon?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you guys just don't like powerful, strong-looking women. That has nothing to do with this. I'm just saying there's an image to it. There's the silhouette test. This She-Ra in silhouette does not look like She-Ra's other silhouette.
in fact, we have a joke that she stored those hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thor definitely wants his hair back.
Yeah. It's honestly more Thor is classic designs than any woman's design.
Oh, and speaking of inconsistencies in the art, can we please make up our minds on how tall she is?
Yeah,
What
that
color her eyes are.
that gets annoying really fast. Like, it's so weird to see how consistent and how wonderfully animated Voltron was. Then they make this show, and it's basically just like, did you all let your kids draw this?
Now, if they kept it in as they stated that Shiro's 8 feet tall,
Yeah.
fine. She's a huge giant of a warrior. I can work
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
But there's instances where she's barely taller than the Glimmer, who is very short.
Yep.
She's taller than most adults,
Yep.
or she's somewhere in between. It depends on where we're standing.
Yep. And it's just like,
And it's not like one episode problem because they're still working out how tall she's supposed to be.
are these animation errors still happening in season 2?
Yes.
Not as much, but still noticeable.
Did you pay attention to the episode where they captured Catra?
No.
Let's see. First she's caught in a net. Then she's tied up with a vine. Then just her hands are tied up. Then she's tied up with a vine again.
And since you brought that up, let's start this off with one little thing. Actually, no, I'll do it after we get to do with Shira, because we're getting off topic. So...
Sorry, the Vine thing broke me again.
Must
So-
reboot him. Give me a moment.
It's a plot point that you've captured her. How do you not remember how you captured her?
Eh.
So, basically saying is that they tried to write a story around something they don't have the rights to. That never works well.
Yeah, that always makes sense.
That's like having the rights to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but not being able to be ninjas.
They're British then?
Yeah, but I don't see that
Because in England they weren't allowed to use ninja because ninjas were banned in England at the time. So they called them the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
I thought that was
That was England. That was the UK who did that.
maybe I'm thinking of something else.
That's also why Mikey started using a rope instead of nunchucks because nunchucks were banned in the UK.
But not size.
Yeah, don't.
Or, the two deadly blades Leonardo's using.
Those were samurai swords, not ninja swords.
They're still
Makes
blades!
it okay.
Look, don't tell. I have a lot of. I understand how stupid creators can be and regions can be, and this show still wounds me the most. So that just let that sink in. Like,
Hey,
But-
imagine how I feel. My
Yeah, you-
childhood, man.
yeah, I mean,
God,
this
please,
would be.
I don't know how I'm gonna handle the Thundercats reboot.
Let's not handle that.
We're not even talking about that.
Look, the only way, the only equivalent I can think of is they remade Beast Wars right now and then fucked up everyone's character.
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
Please don't touch my childhood.
I'm like teasing.
There's enough of your two childhoods to mess with.
Okay.
I will totally suffer through the Thundercats reboot with you. If
I'll
it
try-
comes to that.
I'll try it, but if I start screaming again in abject horror and pain,
Look, I can't tell which hurts me more. The TMNT reboot, which the only reason I would try to watch
Leader.
more of that is because I can only see the first episode on YouTube.
Raph
Or
is the
this
leader.
shit.
What?
Yeah, that's the new Turtle show. They made Raph the leader.
Excuse me, I have to go stab something.
He's also giant.
Oh, I knew that.
Oh,
That makes him the best. That makes him the best ninja leader.
Oh, the horrors I could tell you about this show, Nem. But I think we're getting off topic again.
We're trying to not hurt ourselves.
It's too late for that.
Topic is going to happen a lot.
Yeah, because this show also is off topic most of the time.
Okay, so basically Shira gets her sword, turns into Shira, and then fights a giant monster and then gets captured by Bo and Adora.
Glimmer.
Whoever, I don't care at this point.
The purple people eater.
That explains her
as big as
size.
she is, that can explain a few things.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah. I will now forever refer to her as that.
Yes, you're welcome.
And take note. Bo and Glimmer took her hostage, kidnapped her, whatever you want to call it as.
They took her as a prisoner of war.
Yes,
Which is what you want to do during a war.
Yes.
precisely.
Keep that in mind for later, folks. Keep that in mind.
In fact, no, we're just going to say this right now. You guys told me in Season 2 they capture Catra, and Glimmer and Bo say we don't take prisoners.
No. Bo says we don't take prisoners. Glimmer wants to.
Still!
Hold on a sec. I just... Anyway, okay, let's go.
Like, what was episode 1 about? I'm pretty sure you took prisoners then. You didn't whine about it at that point.
That was then. This is now. We're the brighter, gentler, newer rebellion.
Burn the forest. Just burn it.
All I can picture now is Leia landing on that planet and slapping the shit out of all those princesses.
We can't burn the forest. It would upset Perfuma.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Like,
No, seriously, I bring this up now. If you can fight off the Horde with giant fan leaves, the fuck are you losing for?
yeah, anyone who says it makes no sense the Ewoks defeated the Empire, just watch this show.
I'm pretty sure the Ewoks are badass compared to these people.
Well, the Ewoks ate the stormtroopers they captured.
Really?
These hippies.
Yeah, that's why there's so many empty helmets.
Nice.
Yeah, the Ewoks are fucking little, terrifying little creatures that just look cute.
Oh yeah, they were going to eat the.
They were gonna eat-
Han and C-3PO, yeah.
They were going to, so obviously what do you think they did with all those captured stormtroopers?
I didn't give it
Han
much
and
thought, really.
Chewbacca.
And they were having a festival, and you see no stormtrooper bodies.
Luke and Han and Leia are cannibals.
Yes.
That explains too much.
Han probably doesn't care, because he's probably eaten Wookiee food before. Chewie probably freaking enjoyed it. Luke and Leia are just like, let's use the Force to forget this night. Done. Hi, Lando. Want some soup?
But yeah, if you can defeat your enemies using leaves, and you're still on the losing side,
I'm not sure which side is more pathetic from that sentence.
Ugh.
I'm gonna say the viewer for watching.
yeah, I just.
It's all right. We have the She-Ra.
That's another thing. Will you please stop using it as an excuse to win this war?
Yeah.
But she's the She-Ra. The She-Ra.
That trips out her window, shoots a magic beam at a horse, and gives it goddamn wings, and lets it talk about horse rights.
The She-Ra.
Wait, the horse has more rights?
Oh yeah, in
horse
season 2, it wants a
demands
horse.
a
It wants its chair at the table.
He demands a fucking chair to sit at the round table with the rest of the rebellion.
Hang on, I need to reboot again.
Suddenly, horse meat burgers aren't looking so bad. At least they can get a wing out of it.
Boo! Boo! That was so bad it rebooted me.
You're welcome.
You're not.
But seriously, what was the horse's name supposed to be? Switchwind?
Swiftwind.
God, if ever there was some point to put down an animal.
So I remember in the original, didn't it have like some sort of majestic voice?
Yes.
What does it sound like now? Because I don't remember talking.
Like that horse just did nothing but smoke Marlboros from when the Richard Year ended to this.
Oh.
Hello, I'm Swiftwind. I'm social justice horse. Blah 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 blah. Oh, that kind of turned SpongeBob there, but that's not quite wrong.
Considering SpongeBob's voice makes my ears bleed.
That's actually pretty accurate.
That's not quite wrong.
He just, like... Well, first of all, She-Ra didn't just turn her animal companion into a magical steed for herself. No, she failed to transform and shot a horse with a magical light beam.
Yep.
Didn't she
Which is
also
pretty-
shoot a lizard?
I don't know. Which, if she can, super power up a horse, why doesn't she just shoot her friends?
I don't think she wants to form that kind of bond with those people.
No.
Because
I'm just saying.
that was an episode for She-Ra too, was forming a bond with her magical steed.
See, that sounds like a normal episode for this kind of show, but considering this show, it just would screw it up. Like,
Well, it's not
Okay.
just me wanting to punch the horse more.
all right, I
In
think
comparison again, original Swiftwind started off as Spirit, Adora's horse. So they already had a bond. They already had anyone who has ever been around horses
or
knows,
most animals actually,
or
I would
most
say.
animals, yeah, knows that a person and the animal can develop a really strong bond.
Yeah.
Karma.
Hi, Karma. Ember and Augie say hello.
Wolf.
But so they already had this really great bond when Spirit was just a horse.
Of course.
When he became Swiftwinds, they already had that friendship and that camaraderie and that, I have your back, you have my back.
Yeah.
Let's take on the world, basically. Now we have a
Random horse.
A random horse who, if I remember correctly, she didn't even know what a horse was. Or she turned into a drooling idiot and kept calling it horsey. I think that's actually the correct version. That they have no relationship whatsoever. And his first thing when he realizes that he is a sentient talking being is to try to claim rights for all the other downtrodden horses.
You know, the ones that are well taken care of, kept in stables, fed, sheltered.
Okay, this
Groomed.
brings up the thing we need to discuss. The elephant in the room. She-Ra is trying to be every social justice platform ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
So the horse now represents PETA, which I'm pretty sure the three of us all have problems with PETA.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not against animals having certain rights.
No, neither am I. But PETA is so hypocritical.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard stories about people, dumbass kids putting fireworks in dogs' mouths around here.
Let's not get into that.
Sorry.
Let's just quickly. PETA's main problem is they think animals that are happy in families should be released to the wild where they belong.
Yeah.
Because we are ruining our animals, despite the fact you can look over at your happy little dog sleeping there and go, "You want to leave?"
That's my wolf. Ember's my wolf.
So yeah, that's our problem there. She-Ra herself as a character, okay, what is she trying not to represent?
Well, the first thing she's representing is the feminist movement.
New wave feminism, not
Yeah.
actual feminism.
Right.
And
Okay, classical feminism is equal rights for both genders. New wave feminism is just... I don't know how to describe this politely.
I'll do it if you don't. And you can just tell me if I'm leaning in the wrong direction.
Sure, let's try that game.
Female superiority.
Kinda is what they say.
Woman good, man bad.
Like I said,
Yeah.
female superiority.
I mean, yes, there are many situations where that ideology could improve the world, but overall, shouldn't we just make things balanced?
Yeah.
Well, you would think.
Yeah. Bo represents, like I said, every gay stereotype. Look, the only thing we can compare this to is the other show that seems to be the most social justice in mind, Steven Universe. But they tell a story first. They wrote their characters first.
Now, let me ask you this real quick, since we're on that topic.
Sure.
Whereas Steven Universe had its original story, its own unique take on things, and its own art style to that show. Do
Yeah.
you think this art style works for She-Ra?
No.
I didn't think so. And not
It-
get off
the thing
topic,
is,
but it's the same issue I had with the new Thundercats are coming out. The art style does not work for it. It's the same thing that M said with the shadow test. I forget how you worded that.
Oh, the silhouette test.
Thank you. That was it.
Yeah, that's a design thing I learned about. Is basically you put your character in silhouette and then you stick them next to their original version. If the blank silhouettes look almost identical, you have done a very good job of remaking this character. Sometimes you can get away with a whole new redesign. But as long as the key points of the character remain, it works. The best example would be comparing Batman to Batman Beyond. There are some key differences between these characters, but overall, you've kept most of the silhouette the same.
Mm-hmm.
A shadowy figure with the big pointy ears.
And I mean, it's not a bad art style.
It's a knockoff Steven Universe style,
Yeah, it is.
which is nice. I like Steven Universe style.
But for
I like
the
it.
tone they're trying to tell,
They don't have a tone, so they're all over the goddamn place.
yeah, that's the problem.
And that's the thing. Steven Universe is also all over the place, but they don't jump tracks constantly. When Steven Universe wants to have a serious episode, they stick to it. There might be a few jokes to lighten the mood.
Which is fine, that's what you need.
Yeah, but they don't have, like, the plot get derailed for 5 minutes with just wackiness.
Right.
Unless that wackiness is to further the seriousness of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the best example is an episode where Amethyst is damaged and she keeps changing shape awkwardly. That's goofy, but they're doing it basically to show you that she is kind of suffering. But it's still kind of there in the middle of the episode. They didn't need to do that, but they did it, and they did it really well. That's actually one of my favorite episodes, I think.
And speaking of agendas, there is I'm not even sure how to... The LGBTQ, or the...
Yeah.
I'm going tongue-tied on that.
Yeah.
With Adora and Catra, Scorpia and Catra. Who are the two that were on the Rebellion's Council?
Cinderella and Natasha.
Thank you. The two that were a couple at the ball.
Peekaboo and Sweet Bee.
And, well, as we said, Bo's pushing the gay agenda, so that puts him
There's
out of the...
nothing wrong with that. I mean, honestly, it's nice to see more of these characters existing in media, but they still feel more like the 90s version of gay.
It feels forced.
Yeah.
To go back to Steven Universe, it doesn't feel forced.
The relationship between Ruby and Sapphire is so...
It's beautiful.
And it's not a flawless relationship, too.
Right.
I haven't watched much of Steven Universe, but I like what I've seen, and none of it felt so...
Okay, just a quick recap. Ruby and Sapphire kind of need each other in both the best ways of that in a relationship and the worst ways of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And the show addresses that.
Well, I'm just saying, from what I've seen, it doesn't feel like anything's
Or-
been shoved down your throat.
Or we
Nope.
could just talk about the relationship Pearl has with Rose, and how that's not a good relationship, and they point out that that's not a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But it also points out that, love is love, and love is an awkward thing, and love is this uncontrollable beast in places. And
But
while,
for them, it gives them great character development. They're really well-written characters. They become better from these situations.
yes, which is... Or we can just talk about how Steven Universe also handles abusive relationships with Lapis and... Oh, I forget her name now. They formed... I think
Jasper?
it was Jasper, that was it, yeah. Like, that is basically the most toxic relationship I've ever seen in a show handled correctly. Because they're basically abusing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells you that, same-sex couples can also be just as bad and messed up as, traditional.
Mm-hmm.
I say that with the biggest air quotes I can. So, they basically looked at Steven Universe and said, what can we do with this feminist icon? Let's go no subtlety.
Yeah.
And let's steal their art style too.
But
And
we
I'll-
need a different story to tell.
I'll say this: Steven Universe's art style is good, but they have a lot of flaws in their episodes too. There are animation episodes a lot of places in Steven Universe, but they don't tend to put them up front.
No, they don't.
They don't tend to make a plot point and then the plot point gets ruined by their animation errors. It's just more in the background and going, Pearl, what's wrong with your face? It looks like it's melting.
Maybe it is.
Especially the early season 1 episodes. And some season 2 had some god-awful. But that was because they kept changing animation studios, I believe.
That and to be fair, as shows develop, if they've been around long enough, you can see their animation styles improve and tweak and change.
Yeah. Also, they kept changing the animation, the art director for Steven Universe. That's never a good thing.
Well, I'd also like to say this. From what else I've managed to learn, Season 2 of She-Ra is just, like, filler episodes from Season 1.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's, like, one small major plot in Season 2. Everything else is just, like, filler. And the main plot for Season 2 doesn't even come in until at the end. Everything else is just goddamn filler.
See, as someone who usually defends filler arcs in anime, that's still not how you do a filler arc.
No. No.
You do a filler arc to basically let your writers catch up with other things, or to basically tell a different story, or to basically just give the fans a, hey, you like these characters, let's spend a little more time with them.
Or just genuinely have fun.
That's what I mean. That's the generally, you like these characters, let's spend more time with them and have fun along the way, or see them do wacky things. But if you're doing a show like She-Ra, which is clearly trying to be, we have an agenda to talk about, then you stick to that the entire time. They can't even do that.
And I don't know if I want to tread on this dead horse at this point. But
What's with
has not stopped you before, so
yeah, good point. So I was doing a little bit more research, as I tend to do sometimes, usually when I'm bored. And I cannot think of his name, so I feel a little bit insulting, but one of the co-creators for She-Ra passed away.
The original or this one?
The original.
Oh, okay.
And the new She-Ra cast, pretty much later on, tried to use that to try and bolster for Season 2.
Wait, what?
Oh, good. So I get to lose even more respect for these assholes?
You had some to begin with?
Well, let's just say the fact that they were even attempting to bring back my childhood favorite garnered them respect that quickly dwindled.
Fair enough.
I'm still disgusted by that. Like,
I mean, when they first happened, they were at a con, and they didn't mention it because they were in the middle of a con when it was first announced. I can understand them not making any announcement then.
Yeah, you don't do that then.
Well, first of all, because I don't think the news got to them at that point. That's fine. I'll understand that. That's normal.
Cons can kind of be both the black hole of news like that, and it's a media floor for that.
Then they finally, I think they made like a Twitter post about it, which didn't go over well. And then, if I remember right, I've had the article somewhere saved. They were trying to use it as kind of, oh, hey, look at a representation of his show, or some shit like that. Which I'm pretty sure had the guy rolling over in his grave.
Larry Dilto? Ditillio?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to say his name.
Dittillo.
Dittillo. Okay.
Thank you, Nim.
Okay, I went to look up his name, and one of the first articles were people being pissed off that a man created She-Ra. First off, Wonder Woman was created by a man, and she is still one of the most iconic feminist icons ever. I mean, she's had her stumbling places, too.
Oh, that was the problem.
Okay, and yeah, the second articles I'm finding are people being pissed off at how they paid tribute to him.
By trying to pretend that they made She-Ra. Yeah, kind of hard how you do that.
Can you? Okay, we might need to subtitle this episode "The Episode That Broke M" because I keep having to pause my brain.
Well, it had to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be She-Ra who did that to me.
Not did I. Really didn't think that one on.
I thought that would be like one of the Jedi Dropouts episodes I'm part of.
There.
But now I really want to break M and bring up the D&D episode. Oh my god. And this episode broke me.
Do we
Oh
have
yeah,
to?
I need to get one of my plushies to hold on to.
Nem doesn't want to discuss this.
Do
Oh
we
god,
have to?
Shenron, protect me.
Okay, so it starts off with Shira, Bo, and Glitter trying to plan the siege on this encampment in a area. Fine, you're
Encampment?
trying to plan things. You don't go rolling dice to plan this through, ladies. You're not actually playing the goddamn game.
Yes, they're playing D&D to figure out their best plan of attack.
It's not like Voltron where they're playing a game to try and relax. Wow, I can feel it twitching all the way over here.
I'm terrified.
Go to your happy
Robin's-
place, Em. Go to your happy place, Em. Your
Mind
happy place.
you, their tent is in full view of the Horde encampment.
So Robin's gonna kill us if we broke him.
They're in full view of the cannons. And whatever weapons they decide to pull out, and they do nothing. So, Scorpia actually... Well, I should say Scorpia, oh god, I don't know her name, but one of the Horde minions has a good idea to spy on them.
Does she have a name? The only one I know that has a name is Kyle.
I'm pretty sure they have names, but I don't remember them because they're never brought up often enough. But poor Kyle.
Okay, so not Kyle comes up with a plan.
To send a little drone unit to go spy on our heroes. An actual good idea. Quick, give her a promotion.
Okay, good idea brought me back.
Which... Scorpia doesn't know how to work any tech whatsoever, apparently.
Well, to be fair, she has giant claws for hand.
Fair enough. Then the entire Princess Parade gets involved in this plan, each one taking over for the planning process. Glimmer turns the campaign into like an anime
Film
noir fetish.
It was very Cowboy Bebop-ish. It was kind of, yeah.
Bo did try to, where they really insult everything and tried to base everything off the original show, which only really infuriated people more. See?
I'd imagine, yes.
Frosted tried to be a one-person army, turning everything into ice.
Fights.
Cool party.
The oh god, what was the water lady's name?
Ra.
She was
S-E-A. Ra.
being a knockoff She-Ra with her trident of power.
Okay.
And Permista, whatever the hell her name is, I don't care.
That was Mermista, who became Sira.
Okay, and who's the plant lady?
Perfuma.
Perfuma,
She
was it?
actually wanted to make a plant golem, which was probably the smartest idea any of them had.
And she actually made one too. She was talking about making 10, but
And does that tell you anything when I'm giving the space hippie credit for having the best idea?
I'm sorry, I went back to my childhood and started thinking about Metabots and remembering how stupid the Rubber Robo Gang was, and just realized even they're smarter than this.
well, see, here's the worst thing.
And they once meant us to school by dressing up as rockabillys.
Well, here's the worst thing. Scorpia's listening to all this and thinking all this is what they're actually sending.
They are. These idiots are legitimately thinking these are going to be their plans they're going to go with to attack the Horde. So of course the Horde is going to take them seriously because that they are being serious.
Well, no. Just Scorpia takes it seriously. Not Kyle actually realizes they can't do all this at once.
So Kyle's basically the smartest person on that planet.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, the not Kyle and Kyles are the smartest people in this show.
Yeah.
That is so sad.
Yeah, but they're not
And
smart enough to leave the Horde.
All Kyle wanted was a friend, guys.
Poor Kyle. Glad his spine wasn't broken.
Wait,
That is
what?
fair.
Some of the punishment Kyle has taken should have killed him like 8 times over.
Oh, he basically has both brains and comic relief syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the sad thing is, they technically actually did launch everything at once. And I'm
They
like,
did.
why didn't you just do this in the first place? Like, good lord.
Because they wanted a D&D episode without actually having a D&D episode because they weren't intelligent enough to understand what D&D actually is.
Yeah. Last point we'll touch on is Hordak. Because he kind of plays a major role near the end of season 2.
I miss Skeletor.
I missed the original Shredder from the 1980s cartoon.
Oh, I never liked that one.
I'll take him over this.
Okay.
I actually like this Hordak better than the original Hordak.
Oh, that's fine.
That's why I missed the original Skeletor, because I actually know who that is. I also like the reboot Skeletor we had once.
See, that was good.
Yeah.
That was a good Skeletor.
Yeah, and also that was a good reboot because I actually did get the season of that, and that's how you do a reboot.
Yeah, that's kind of what the second
That also
the reboot of Thundercats was like.
Yeah, and they also technically made Skeletor He-Man's uncle,
Yeah.
which works.
Yep.
But he starts working, apparently, finally learn what he's been doing all this time instead of ignoring his army.
Being menacing on the video phone.
No, he was working on an interplanetary teleporter.
Oh, so he's making Shockwave's space bridge.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's my original idea design, Megatron. Don't steal it. What? No, of course I wouldn't. Once I slap my name on this, it'd be my design. It's transformative. That's not how that works, Megatron. Shut up, Starscream.
So he's, from what I can piece together, he's from another planet and he wants to summon his real army to the planet.
Oh, good. This is not actual army.
If you want to call it that. So I'm thinking the first She-Ra, because apparently there was like Shears before Adora. The one that everyone hates, that was before Adora, did what she did to stop Hordak's invading army.
I see.
And everything else is just a huge misunderstanding.
I think this show is a huge misunderstanding.
I think the show is a huge mistake, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, this is already in season 2, and without doing some major rewriting of everything, there's no fixing the show.
It was all a dream from the blow to the back of the head Adora had in Coma Dream.
This is literally the definition of what this series was made for. I never thought we'd find something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought I could always say there's at least some potential to be saved. Then I saw this.
Yeah, there is. This was a fixable problem, and they've just kept piling onto it.
I think that's the problem, is any criticism is pointed out as being misogynistic.
Yep.
Which, hey, very much female here.
Racist.
Or homophobic.
Yeah.
Which,
okay, I won't say that every criticism is not.
No, there are clearly some criticisms out there that are just for the sake of, I don't like this because it's not the manliness I grew up on. Which is, ugh.
And don't get me wrong, I do like some shows that are nothing more than explosions, badass men being heroes. I do love the Riddick series.
Mm.
But
I can recommend half a dozen shows that have agendas and right around it. Like, not just Steven Universe. I mentioned Yuri on Ice. If you want to see a great representation of gay people, Yuri on Ice is where I recommend people go. It's a wonderful story, too. I actually would put it probably in my top.
But with some of the major criticism I've seen about this, it's none of those three. It's simple criticism about this show being so off the tracks from the original source.
Oh, you don't like it because it's new. You just want everything to be exactly the same way it was.
Here's what I'll say, what I've told you guys from the very beginning. The potential for this show is the plot that they should have gone with. They should have made it to where the characters are the descendants of the original characters.
Mm-hmm.
They could have then created their own characters, their own plot device, their own everything, and still tie it back to the original.
Because here's my idea I would have thought of. If they did it this route, let's just say Adora, the original Adora, lost the war. Something big, huge happened. Like that giant evil thing finally came down. So the only way to save their kids is to send them off-world.
Mm-hmm.
And now, since they only have so much, maybe the ship got damaged and they're still trying to learn everything, you could still go on with them knowing absolutely nothing, but they're not these bumbling idiots.
Yeah, they have to learn as they go. They have their parents' legacy weapons that they don't quite understand quite yet, but they know that my parent was a great warrior, and I want to be just like them. Basically, you know what reminds me what could have done? You guys remember that Avengers cartoon movie where we got to follow the Avengers kids?
Yes.
It could have been like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly what I would think would be a good idea.
That was actually a good movie.
Or they could have just done a pure, straight-up reboot following the exact same points, only done with a more modern animation.
You know what? I just realized something.
Rather than try and reinvent the wheel with trying to use the same base.
What did you just realize, Soul?
Hey, what was the name of that witch lady that was in the woods?
Madame Raz.
She's actually what would happen to any normal person living on this planet. Absolutely lose your goddamn mind.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I wouldn't have tried to remake this show unless I had the complete rights to both She-Ra and He-Man.
Yes.
You know, if they ever actually do get the rights to He-Man, I shudder what they'll do to him.
And here's the thing. Just because I said that does not mean I say start with He-Man first. No, they could easily start with She-Ra first and leave in some sprinklings of He-Man stuff to be used in the future, and that means they have all the rights to Castle Grayskull.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know, maybe they could have just tried and make a He-Man and She-Ra show at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one episode we follow across on the opposite planet where we follow She-Ra for a while, and then whatever they do impacts some things on He-Man's world. Like, basically, when they defeat Hordak's group, the evil being backing Hordak and Skeletor sends more funding to Skeletor, so Skeletor gets to be slightly stronger for a while. So back and forth, no matter what, it's going to wear down the heroes.
Yeah.
Until the heroes realize, hey, that planet across the way? I think they're also in a war. And then they actually can have a Masters of the Universe thing.
Yep.
And then we can have She-Ra and He-Man figure, hey, we're siblings. Dude.
Or the villains could try to make the heroes fight, like every other villain's plan for something like that.
I don't see that working because they literally gain power from the exact same place.
Yep.
Without mind control or we kidnap She-Ra's best friend of the whole world. Unless you kill He-Man, we're going to throw her in acid.
Can we throw Orca in there too?
We want them to fight, not to celebrate.
Fair point.
But yeah, and the thing is, they can do that, and they can make She-Ra the more passionate about protecting people, while He-Man's the more passionate about defeating evil. And they can butt heads like that.
Yep.
Like He-Man's like, hey, if we attack right now, we can stop the Horde. Yeah, but if we attack right now, we might damage that nearby village. But if we don't attack now, they'll build their super weapon. There, I've instantly written an entire episode for you.
Good job. Good job.
And here's the thing. Guess what? Both people are being intelligent, and neither one is wrong.
Well, yeah, in about 5 minutes we wrote a better episode than anything I've seen from She-Ra.
Yeah. And, I'm just making the women have to be soft and kind. No, it's fine. You can make She-Ra the one more gung-ho about stopping the Horde because they kidnapped her, so she's the one more interested in stopping evil. And we make He-Man the one more interested in protecting people because he's chivalrous like a knight. There. I swapped them around very easily. We can easily make She-Ra the more gung-ho battle-crazy one.
Or what if we make them even more human and there's situations where they actually swap personality?
Yeah. This is why things are usually written by multiple people.
Yeah, and why a lot of people take criticism well.
Yeah, who respect each other and also respect their source material and respect their audience.
Unlike
Yeah.
the new writers of this show who flat out insulted the 80s babies who enjoyed the original series.
Yeah, I've also heard they basically side with all the, you don't like this, you're just blank. Yeah, none of our critics are actual critics. They're just being 80s babies or misogynistic or homophobic.
Or racist, or whatever you want to say at this point.
I purposely went
You're
into
allowed to
this.
dislike a thing for hundreds of reasons. Just because you dislike something that has good intentions does not make you a bad person.
Right. I purposely went into this without my nostalgia goggles on because I wanted to give it a chance. I wanted to like this. I badly wanted to like this.
The only time I ever come into a program not wanting to like something is if I already know it's got bad messages attached to it, or the creator happens to be someone like Frank Miller.
Or one of the actors in it is,
Ben Affleck.
Thank you, I couldn't think of his name.
I hate him so much. Anyway, but the thing is, I had no connection to She-Ra. I saw the She-Ra He-Man Christmas special and maybe an episode of She-Ra. And to me it was, it's kind of like a prototypical Sailor. I enjoyed Sailor Moon growing up. I should probably enjoy this. Then you guys told me about this. I'm like, oh, this sounds completely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're over-exaggerating, because Soul has been known to do that every now and then. He undersold it.
Yeah, it's rare I do that.
Well, mostly because you couldn't sell it properly.
This is why most of the time I just say, here, have the look. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If someone listening to this thinks this is one of the best shows ever, you're allowed to think that.
I'm going to have a lot of questions about why.
But just don't automatically assume someone who disagrees with you is just mad. We're just disappointed.
Well, you see, here's the thing.
The three of us right now are probably more along the lines of very disappointed teachers getting handed one of the worst essays ever. You've had so much potential with this. So much. And you gave us this. You gave us this.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. I'm not even mad about it. I'm just confused how you would.
I'm just disappointed.
I'm mad.
Well, you got better reasons to be mad than we do.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I think we'll leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't think I can stand resetting M one more time.
Please don't. My brain can't take much more of this.
So, I'm just going to leave you off on these wise words. Quivers don't work like that. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, Nem.
No problem. Like to do it again sometime.
Sure.